All right, good evening, one-star directors and above. Thank you for being here this evening. Hopefully, everybody had a fantastic Labor Day weekend. You had some rest and some recharge and some relax, and now you're ready for September to rock and roll into our last 4 months of this year. We are on week two of our eight-part series in developing leadership. So I'm excited this evening. Last week we had Leah Stastny present on mindset of a network marketer, the me to we. And now tonight, Cindy Johnson, a senior presidential director on our team, is going to talk about the power of duplication. So simple systems that anyone can follow and repeat. And obviously, as a senior presidential director, she has done that and has duplicated herself. So Cindy, I know for time purposes, I want to give this all to you. So then that way we can have some time for Q&A at the end. So if you guys have questions with Cindy, we will stop at the 9 o'clock time, and my senior directors and above will hang out. We'll finish up our last 30 minutes. I know last week we went over a little bit, but we'll finish up from 9 to 9:30 with senior directors and above. So I'm going to mute, and Cindy, you take it away, girl.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Dr. Stacy. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to everybody tonight about duplication. Now, when I first started here, I didn't understand this concept at all. I had been in business for myself, but I'd always created my own thing and done my own thing. And I just didn't even really understand duplication or the power of it. Learned some really hard lessons along the way. So hopefully we will help all of you to avoid some of those. First, I want to cover why duplication is important, because I think if you understand how important it is and why it's important, it makes you want to do it more. First of all, obviously having multiple copies of you out there being productive in the marketplace is a huge benefit. I heard a quote one time that, what would you rather have, 100% of your own effort or 1% of 100 people's effort? And, 1% of 100 people every day of the week, because even if you just took 1% of one day, that's 15 minutes a day. Imagine if you had 100 people on your team, each doing 15 minutes of something in this business every single day. That would multiply huge over a period of time, and it would accomplish so much more than you can probably do by yourself, unless you wanted to work 24 hours a day. Duplication doesn't really rely on your individual talents, but it relies on systems. I remember when I think I was in Austin, and we were having a conversation with Dr. Stacy, and she mentioned she had seen a post that morning, and it really hit me. She said that the post that she saw is, you'll make your first 100,000 a year when you get really good at selling your product. You'll make your first million when you get good at developing people, and you'll make your first 10 million when you learn how to develop and work with great systems. The good news is that we have a lot of great systems already in place here. Also, duplication gives you freedom. Obviously, if you have team out there that's working, then when you go on vacation or you go to sleep at night, or whatever, you still have activity happening. So duplication is not necessarily about doing more or having added responsibility. It's about creating something that others can copy and repeat very easily. So duplication at its core is making mini yous. Okay, so let's start with you. What habits and activity are you currently modeling? Okay, are you using the systems that our leaders have created for us? Or are you just winging it? Are you doing what just works for you? See, I did that for a while. This is a good topic for me to teach on, because I did it wrong. I was like, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go online, and I'm going to build websites, and I'm going to do all these crazy things. What your leaders have done that have made them extremely successful works for the greatest number of people. What you're doing might work for you, but it might not translate to others as easily. So why reinvent the wheel? Learn the systems that we have, plug into the systems that we have, and get people there. So to be duplicatable, we have to keep it as easy as possible. And I find that sharing team resources is the easiest way to do that. Use videos to explain the product. Point to resources like StartX39, Start333biz.com. Invite people to webinars like the Patching Podcast, which is every Monday and Thursday. We have 2 new testimonies and a leader explaining the science behind the patches. We invite to Dr. Stacy's Science and Technology. Marcy has a Thursday evening, early evening on the East Coast, early or late afternoon on the West Coast patching party. And Sunday now they have Doc Talk. These are all product related stuff that you can easily invite people to teach them about the patches. You don't have to understand or know anything about the patches in order to do that. Also, part of your job at this point is to really encourage your people to come to these trainings. Okay, now tonight's a special training for leaders, but to get to Dr. Stacy's Tuesday night training, to get to Dr. Stacy's Wednesday night business training, to get to Marcy's Saturday training, to get to Doc Talk. And the reason you want to get people to those training is, let's just take those 3 meetings that I mentioned. That's 2.5 hours of training. If you have 10 people in your group, that's 25 hours of training that you have just delivered to your team. And other than you showing up for the training yourself, you've really only spent that 2.5 hours. Or you can train your people one person at a time. Trust me, it's a lot easier to get them to go to the meetings. I heard very early on, the person with the most butts in the seat wins. I can't say that I didn't believe that, because I did believe it, but there was a part of me that was like, I don't know if I want to make people take their evenings. I don't know if I want to ask people to take their Saturday afternoons. And I really resisted that thought for a while. As soon as I started plugging people into the training meetings, my business really took off. And this is also the most important part about the trainings, I think, is invite them yourselves. Take the time to invite your team yourself. You can put together a group text for all your people who are building, and you can just send a group text. Hey, I wanted to remind you, we have, Dr. Stacy's Science and Technology tonight. Hey, I wanted to remind you. Here's the thing is, it's real easy to go, oh, Dr. Stacy sends a message out. Oh, Cindy sends a message, or Leah sends a message. It's easy to say that. But here's the thing is, your newest people might not be on our list. And here's the rest of it. They know you. And if you tell them, hey, don't forget to go to this, they'll give it more importance than if they just get a big group text from one of the leaders. So make sure you're inviting your people to every single thing as much as possible. And the other thing that synergy does that duplication does is it creates a synergy. Like if Dr. Stacy were doing her own thing and I was explaining patches my own way, and Leah was doing her own thing, and Laura was doing her own thing, and everybody was, and we do have a different flavor, but basically when we're talking about the patches, if you listen to us, we all say the same thing. We all do 3-way calls. We all do many of the things I'm going to talk to you about tonight. We all point people to StartX39 now. We all do very similar things. We have a different personality about it, but that synergy creates something in a group setting that is very difficult to put your finger on and very difficult to identify. I got a little help from my AI guy today, and I said, please help me explain this. And he said, oh, it's easy. It's a concept called collective effervescence. And it's the energy and unity and that uplifting feeling people get when they're gathered in a group moving towards the same goal. It creates a sense of being part of something bigger than yourself. You cannot do that one-on-one with your people. And a lot of people, I have people in my team, they're not here for the money. They're here to help people, but their number one reason for being here is community and to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And if you don't get them to the meetings, you're not filling that need for them. So how do we duplicate? Well, I know you all have heard this. We become a manager building machine. And the very first goal to becoming a manager building machine, in my opinion, is to set a goal for the number of managers that your team will promote this year, this month, and this week. And write it down and put it on your computer where you can see it, or put it on your put it somewhere that you're going to see it multiple times a day. And then there is a concept called taprooting, and that means working in depth. That means building down into your team. We work with brand partners. When I first started building, I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I had never done this before. So I had no clue. I was just doing my best to try to figure out stuff. And what was funny is I kept trying to work with these people who I thought would be great. If they would just see it, they'd be great. They weren't ready. They either didn't want to build, or they weren't ready to build, or timing was just off. But I was getting so frustrated because it was like I was trying to push a bunch of ropes. And you can't push a rope, right? So what I started doing was just asking people, who else do you know that you want to share this with? And what I would do is just help them. Most people, whether they want to build or not, have somebody they thought of when they heard about these patches and what they can do. And so you just help them with those people, and you watch and look for that person who's ready and wants it. Once you find somebody who's really ready and who's wanting to build and is ready to go now, not 6 months from now, you're going to work with them every step along the way. At least that's what I do. I help them enroll several people where I do everything and they just watch. They just invite and watch. I teach them. Don't say anything. Don't try to explain the patches. Don't try to answer any objections. Don't just tell them you have to hear this. This is too important not to hear, and get them on a call. I did everything with my team. I would help them, show them how to present the patches, how to sign somebody up. We would log in together on my Zoom, and I did everything for the first few patches, sometimes as many as 15 or 20 three-way calls. I would do three-way calls with somebody for as long as they want me to, because three-way calls actually work. I heard Bob Campbell one time say that he still does three-way calls. He's a senior presidential director. He can explain these patches 1,000 ways from Tuesday. Okay. But he still brings in that expert because it works. So work with the brand partners who are really ready and want to build. Help them enroll several people where you do it all. Take the pressure off. Tell them, I'm not expecting you to understand anything. Just let's talk to a couple of people together. If you haven't heard from those people who you're working closely with in a few days, for a couple of days, I would not let more than 2 or 3 days go by. And I would text them and say, hey, how's it going? And I would encourage them and keep LifeWave in front of them on a regular basis. One of the goals you need to have is to help them get a very early win. And then you need to get them to manager as soon as possible. And I'm going to talk about some ways that you can do that here very quickly. And then as soon as they promote, you recognize them. So you do 3 ways. And in those 3 ways, the beauty of that and working with them and doing those presentations with them as you meet all of their new people. Okay. And you get a feeling for the brand partners who want to build. And then what do you do with them? You do 3 ways. You call to encourage them. You get them a big win. You get them to manager as soon as possible. You recognize them and you repeat. And you just keep working down in that leg, down in that root, that leg. And an enrollment leg is different from a binary leg. Binary leg is right and left. Enrollment legs are all the individual legs that you have enrolled and the people under that person. So the brand partner that you're looking to work with doesn't have to be somebody who is direct to you, because it's all volume, right? And especially under the new comp plan, we don't have structure. Woo! Hallelujah. That is so freeing, y'all, because not only do we not have structure, but if that person you find that's ready to go is on level 5, it doesn't matter, because if no one in between is doing anything, they are now your first generation, because we have a thing called compression. I'm going to tell you a real life story. Kathy Stevenson was my 5th, or is my 5th generation. Okay. And this story is about how that taprooting creates foundational stability in that entire leg. Like when you get somebody ready to run, you should work with them till you find somebody else that gets ready to run, and work with them till you get somebody else that's ready to run, and work with them till you get somebody else who's ready to run, because then that whole leg becomes solid. Here's my example is I enrolled Dennis, and Dennis is amazing at sharing the patches. He's a great salesperson. He sells more premium packages than anybody else on my team. Okay. But he's never built a networking company. And he's starting to do more of the buildings part of this and looking for leaders and asking those type of questions and looking for those cues. But Dennis was just in a place where he just wanted to sell the patches and help people with the patches. He wasn't even sure he was going to build a business. But he introduced me to Becca. And Becca was still recovering from a head injury and wearing noise canceling headgear in a dark room for half the day. And so she enrolled her husband, Josh, but Josh was traveling and working a second job and trying to uphold the family with the 4 children while his wife was in a dark room with head canceling gear on, with noise canceling gear. But he did introduce me to Brian. Brian also traveled for work, was very busy, worked a ton of hours. And he would introduce me to a person here and a person there, but the timing just wasn't really right for Brian. But he connected me to Kathy. And Kathy was ready to run. As a matter of fact, Kathy had networking experience. Kathy was like, I want this. Help me go where I need to go. Teach me what I need to learn. And you know what else she said to me? I understand duplication. So if I have to watch you do this 20 times till I get it right, that's what I'm going to do, if that's okay with you. And I'm like, of course. So we did 22 3-way calls. Understand, she was probably one of the most capable people when she came to me. But she still did 22 3-way calls with me. And during that time, we enrolled Jeremy and Zara and Gwen and Bernie, and I met them on the initial call. And so then they decided they wanted to build. So I started doing three-ways with all of them. We traveled to Texas to do training and patch parties and built relationships, because this is a relationship business. Don't forget to build the relationships. But then a really beautiful thing happened is Kathy's team, her little team in Texas, became a pretty big team in Texas. And then you can use that as leverage to light a fire under everybody in that route, everybody in that leg. An example of that looks like this. Hey, Dennis. Hey, Josh. Hey, Becca. Hi. Hey, Brian. We really need to get that other leg going so you can maximize your income. And Kathy has been a fire for that entire leg. So, how-tos. Number one, you need to make yourself available to your team for three-ways. If you do not have a Calendly account, you need to have one by this time tomorrow night. It's free. It takes 5 minutes to set it up. Just go create one. You can set your own schedule. So if you only want to be available for three-ways, Monday night for 2 hours, Wednesday night for 2 hours, and Thursday morning for 3 hours, you can set it up like that. But it gives your team a chance to schedule three-ways with you without having to chase you and then have to go back and chase their prospect. Get your Calendly account. Make sure everybody on your team has a phone number, and take advantage of group texts. Now, when me and another leader, let's say Becca and I, are working with somebody in her team, we're introduce both of ourselves to them, and we've got somebody new and hot working on Becca's team. Then what we'll do is we'll do a group text with me, Becca, Dennis, and this person, and say, when you've got somebody you want to talk to about the patches, just use this group text to reach out, and whoever's available can pick it up. So use group texts with your upline. Your upline's more than happy to continue to help you. You're still not on, you haven't been on your own yet. I've not been on my own yet, thank God. So continue to use your leaders and let your leaders help you to develop people. And then finally, when you're in your back office and you want to watch for new enrollments that are coming across and see who the new enrollers are. And if it's somebody that you don't know or haven't met, reach out and introduce yourself to them. And then finally, launch parties. If you haven't explored launch parties on start333biz.com, you need to do that. I'm going to put the link directly to the launch system in our chat. But the launch system that Marcy has created sets an expectation for people to invite 50, not 15, 50 people to a launch. Some of the key things is you do a pre-launch training where you talk to them about the importance of getting a fast start and of inviting at least 50 people, because 30% will be able to make it, and of making sure that they know they need to follow up within 24, 48 at the outside hours, depending on how many people they have there. But you do only one brand partner at a time. That's critical, y'all. Do not do a launch party for 3 people. Because when you do that, you take that person off the hook. When you're doing it for one person and they know it's only one person, they invite more people, because they can't have nobody show up to the party that the leader's doing for them. And then, bring in some of your leaders. I know Dr. Don's done a ton of parties for us. On my team, I'm always available to help with parties. Bring in one of the bigger leaders, because there's real power in doing that. Promotions are another great way. We're running out of time. I'm supposed to leave time for vacation for questions, but you can do promotions yourself, but promote the things that are given to you. If Dr. Stacy's doing a promotion, sell it to your team. Tell them that it's not just cash in their pocket, but it's an opportunity to get on Dr. Stacy's radar. Right? Y'all were on Dr. Stacy's radar. Did you know that? Because you won a contest. You are not a contest, but you won a promotion. You earned, I'm sorry, I misspoke. You earned a promotion. Corporate trips, they encourage business building activity and teach the important business building activity, gets people to focus on what they're supposed to be focused on. You need growth in a specific leg. Like you've got a leg that you really need growth in so that you can maximize your own income. Do a promotion, but do it only for that leg. That's okay. All of us leaders have done that. And the last notes to you are be duplicatable. Don't do overly complex or detailed explanations of the patches. It just is overwhelming and difficult to duplicate. I don't know if we have any practitioners on here, but if you muscle test in your practice, do not muscle test patches. Go ahead and do that if you want to just sell patches in your practice. But if you want to grow a business, do not muscle test. Do not do any kind of test that you have to have special training or special equipment for, because your people cannot do that. It's not duplicatable. Do only what every other person on your team would be able to do. Should you build a website for each patch or for each system of the body? If you plan to keep it generic and share it with your old team, maybe. But if you plan to use it only for yourself, no, don't do that. It's not duplicatable. And then when in doubt, ask yourself, is this duplicatable? And if you're really not sure, go ask your leaders. Is this something that might be a good idea? Chances are one of us has probably tried it. So that is my thoughts on duplication.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Cindy. Excellent tips, suggestions, information. And I think I saw a lot of head nods, and people were like, yes, okay, I've experienced that. I've been there. People have been in your shoes in many different times. And of course, we all have. You know, we've all been newbies at once, where we're just starting out, or this is our first go round in network marketing, or maybe this is our first go round in a binary, right? You know, this or first go round in this type of company, this type of technology. So excellent tips, excellent suggestions. And of course, this is recorded for sure. So I'll definitely share this so you guys can rewatch it. We did have a question, Cindy, on the three-way calls that came through in the chat. How much do you share in the three-way call?
If you want to know how to share, first of all, my suggestion would be to do 3 ways with your team leader. They will show you how much to share. But typically, most of us leaders can do an explanation of the patches that's like 3 to 5 minutes, explaining the basic things that they need to understand. On the patching podcast, we do it every Monday and Thursday night, where we explain it in 3 to 5 minutes. So it's an explanation like that. And then after I explain that, what I personally say is, now everybody's got something going on with their body. What's going on with you? And I just shut up. And they all just start spilling their guts and telling me everything that's wrong with them. And then from that point on, I gear the conversation to them personally. And those are the kind of techniques and the kind of things that you will pick up in by watching your leaders. One of the other things that I've started to do, and some of my people that I've trained on here may not have benefited from this because it's something I've added recently, is after we take the order, I add almost like an afterthought. Oh yeah, by the way, we have a great referral program where a lot of our people are getting their patches for free, and some are even earning some really good part-time income. If you're interested in that, be sure to let us know. If they're interested, they will usually speak up right then.
Love that. Love that. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
worries.
Thank you, Cindy.
Wanted to
Great
know that they
tips.
were
Thank you
looked
so
after.
much.
All right. My
All
pleasure.
right, so wrapping up our power of duplication, next week we will come together again at 8:30 Eastern talking about becoming a culture carrier. So the culture you have in your business, in your organization, your team. Laura's going to talk about how to set the tone for energy, values, and community with inside of your team. So that's going to be next Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern. So, for our one-star directors and our two-star directors that were here, thank you for being here tonight. And we are excited to help you in any way over the course of the next week before we come back together again next Tuesday.